to say. There's another look right in your eyes. Oh, broke my heart for the first time, and I was like, welcome to the Orleans Arena. We are previewing the BYU women's basketball game, the semifinals versus Portland here at the WCC tournament. Caleb Turner and Jackson Payne.
What's up, guys? Viva Las Vegas here, Orleans Arena. Super stoked to be here. Universe on the road again.
On the road again.
We did this at USC, doing it here in Las Vegas. You know, we're going worldwide, so
yeah.
Super stoked. Women's basketball, greatest show on earth. Bringing the show to Vegas.
It feels right, you know?
Feels right.
Feels right. The greatest show on earth should be here in Vegas. Great venue here in the Orleans Arena. You know, maybe not the lighting, kind of like the bright atmosphere we're used to in the Marriott Center. A little bit of a darker vibe here, but it's still fun. And it's going to be a great game coming up here in under 2 hours. BYU women's basketball versus Portland. We'll be bringing you guys all the coverage. Make sure you're checking out our social channels as well. Daily Unit of Sports. Every once in a while, we get some tunes coming in. We got some Taylor going now.
Just waiting for Blank at this point.
Yeah, we're just getting things ready for game time. Got to make sure the vibe is right.
Right.
Because this is
vibes only.
This is a big one. You know, women win here. They already have the regular season championship for the WCC. Oh, remix.
Ooh.
They're women's basketball remix this season.
Yeah. Like you said, they won the regular season title.
Yeah.
25-2, best season in program history. Got the 1 seed, got the regular season title in WCC. 2 wins away from winning the conference tournament. I swear, this is all right.
They're doing this on purpose. They're doing this on purpose, I think. Now
this is a troll job. They're trying to throw us off because they know that if we're off our groove, the women's team will be off their groove. But the thing is, Daily Unit of Sports, we don't stop for no one.
You can't do this to us.
You can't do this to us. We're gonna take this
no
personally.
Nonsense.
And this Portland matchup, Caleb, is kind of a big one because that was the only game that they lost in conference play.
BYU hasn't beaten Portland.
They haven't beaten Portland. They only played them once. They lost up there. I imagine it'll be a home court advantage for BYU today. You know, there's lots of members of the church in this area. A lot of people came down for the men's team.
Yeah.
A lot of people came down for the women's team.
And there's a lot of hype, you know, around this team.
And
people love this team.
People love this team. And you know that Portland game, I remember, BYU did not play their brand of basketball that day. They shot 22% from 3. They turned the ball over 20 times, which is about 7 more than their season average. Yeah. And Cochran and Fowler for Portland combined for 31 points. And BYU doesn't really let the 2 best players pop off that way.
So, yeah,
they're very solid defensively. So turnovers, lack of success from behind the arc, and two players that just dominated BYU's defense. That doesn't really happen. And so I want to say that was a fluke game. I don't think Portland's better than BYU. Come on, this is the greatest show on earth. We already know how this one ends. Yeah,
and this BYU team has been preparing for the postseason all year. They say Final Four after every practice, so this is really kind of like the trial run for what you're going to do. I mean, it's March, you know. March has begun officially, so this is a time for BYU to prove that they're meant for March. And I think, you know, these past 2 to 3 years, if you look at the BYU women's team, 2 years ago coming here and winning 3 years ago winning the WCC championship.
Shout out Aaron Fitzner.
And then last year, I mean, also had a great performance, made it to the championship game. Controversial call there to give Gonzaga the win at the end. We've discussed that previously on the pod. And here they are again, you know, in great shape to take it all. Number 1 team in the conference, come in and had a bye to this game. They didn't have to play until Monday, so here we are, first game for BYU. The men are done, so this is the only horse that BYU has in the race is this women's team, and
it's a good horse to have.
And I think today and tomorrow is just going to be a great kind of test and almost like an audition of sorts for what this team can do the rest of March.
Yeah, you say that BYU only has 1 horse in the race. The horse that they have is Secretariat. They have the best horse in the race. They have the best women's team in school history.
Facts.
And going into this tournament, there is not a team in this tournament with more postseason experience than this BYU roster. Paisley Harding and Maria Albiero today will be playing their, I don't know what, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the number, but they are breaking the record.
144th or something like that, I want to say.
Either 138 or 144 game as a BYU basketball player, the most in program history, never to be broken.
Yeah.
That's just absurd, first off. But this team is largely the same team that won this tournament 3 years ago and is the exact same team that came in last year and lost to Gonzaga in the championship game, which, if you take away that no call, they win that game.
Yep.
And they smacked Gonzaga twice this year. They just bulldozed this conference. And I kind of like this narrative that they have to beat Portland here to win this conference tournament. They literally have to beat every team in the conference in order to completely say we are the conference champions. And presumably they'll play Gonzaga tomorrow in the final. It is very hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season, as we know. But that's what BYU did 3 years ago when they beat Gonzaga on this court in the final. They beat them 3 times that year. That was their 3rd win over them. And so looking at that, this is probably the toughest path they could have taken to a championship, and that's what this team wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't want to just have this championship handed to them. They wanted to earn it themselves, and so we're about to see it.
Well, and I think there's a couple of things there. Like, yeah, it shows your domination, that you're how well you're able to dominate by beating every team in the conference, but also you're able to kind of exercise some demons here by beating the team that you didn't beat previously, that you had a game, kind of like that COVID weirdness, right, where you get a game canceled. So you kind of get to get over that hump of whatever happened earlier in the season, and then at the same time, prepare yourself in a tournament environment against a pretty good team, right? Which is kind of going to be the case for BYU in the first round of the NCAA tournament as well. And so I think, coming in here, great test on the first day, and like you said, I mean, in all honesty, the WCC runs through BYU. Like it's like Gonzaga is with the men's tournament. For BYU, it's the same in the women's tournament. They're the favorites coming in, and they are kind of just on that other level where it's like the BYU Invitational, like they call it the Gonzaga Invitational. For the men's side, it's BYU Invitational for the women's side. They've got the stars, they've got the firepower on both sides of the ball. And it's going to be super exciting to watch. I mean, you mentioned, try and limit turnovers, but this team is just, they're free-flowing. We got some good lighting now.
We got some lighting. I want to just run this whole podcast back.
They're like, you know what? It's game time now.
Showtime. Under the bright lights of Vegas. But like you said, they have 3 first-team All-WCC players. Tegan Graham, honorable mention.
Should have been second team.
Maria probably should have been honorable mention.
Yep.
Sarah, you could have made a case for her as Defensive Player of the Year. Coach Judkins is Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
It runs through BYU.
Yep.
This is BYU's tournament. And they get to earn it their way right here, exercise that demon, beat Portland, beat Gonzaga, and go into the NCAA tournament and make some noise. Go to the Elite Eight. Go to the Final Four. Do what you said you were going to do at the beginning of the year and what you were built to do.
Yeah.
So,
who's your pick for leading scorer today?
Leading scorer today is going to be Shaylee.
Ooh,
Big-time players make big-time plays
right.
on the biggest stages.
You know what?
Conference Player of the Year, come on.
Conference Player of the Year for sure. I think she'll show up definitely.
The Shaylee Gonzalez arrival party was right here in 2019.
Yeah, you were here for that.
I was here for that. Once again, shout out Aaron Fitzner. Shout out Dr. Boyle. We were sitting right on this row right here. And Shaylee, I think she only started 6 games that year. She came off the bench for most of the season. BYU got hot late. Brenna Chase was here. She hit some big threes. Sarah popped off defensively. But it was Shaylee who really just set the standard for BYU. She gave them the edge over, I want to say, it was either Pepperdine or Pacific. It was an orange team. I've served a full mission between that. It's hard to remember. And then Gonzaga. Shaylee popped off. That was the moment where we realized that Shaylee Gonzalez was the real deal, was going to go down on BYU basketball's Mount Rushmore, men or women's. And here she is. She's better than ever. 2-time defending Conference Player of the Year. Come on, this is her stage.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it could be a potential triple-double game, kind of on that in that area for Shaylee. But I'm going to go with somebody else who kind of needs a get-right game, a little bit of a breakout game going into March. Tegan, yeah. I think she's had her shooting struggles the last few weeks, last month or so. I think she shows up and can kind of get the stroke back, get the rhythm back. Heading into the championship game tomorrow, I think she'll have a big game. I'm going to say she has at least five threes today in a nice little breakout game.
Yeah, I mean, Tegan's their glue player.
Yeah.
Every championship team needs that glue player. Every championship team needs that glue player. And, you get guys like Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala in the finals in the NBA who have great finals performances, and they're the glue. They've been the glue player the whole season, and you get to see that on the biggest stage. This is Tegan's year 6 of playing basketball. She came here wanting to win a championship. That's Shaylee's been here before. Paisley's been here before. Maria's been here before. Tegan hasn't. Yeah. They got the regular season title, but that's not enough. You got to go win this. You got to win these next two games. Got to go to the tournament, go to the Final Four. That's what's got to be going through Tegan's mind the whole time. So
Yeah.
this is her stage as well.
Definitely.
I think you're exactly right. I think Tegan and Shaylee put on a show today, and we're going to be right back here tomorrow for Gonzaga.
And for every one of those Tegan made threes, there's going to be an assist, and so that's where I think Shaylee gets up there with those assists today for that triple double.
Okay.
Yeah, and one last note that I'll add. I think we mentioned the kind of the hype around this women's team, and I think they've done a really good job of really blocking out that hype and not letting it kind of distract them. There's been a few times where we've, in the last week or so, tried to get like some interviews, tried to get some footage of the team, and we've been told, they're just really trying to not let anything distract this team right now. They don't want anything to change, practice to practice. We were potentially going to come to shoot around this morning, maybe just get a little bit of video.
Swatted like Hampson.
And every time we've been told, the team is just really trying to block out any outside noise. They don't want anything externally to distract from what this team is trying to do within itself as their, kind of their personal goals, which is make a Final Four. So I think that's really cool to see, with as much hype as they have been getting, they're not letting it get to their head. They're not letting it change kind of their day-to-day, how they approach game day, how they approach everything. It's really the same. They have that. They're keeping that edge, which is something that the men's team talked about, helping to keep that edge. And I think the women's team has the right mindset going in.
And they've talked about how being the best team in the conference, knowing that this is their tournament, the conference runs through them, they have that target on their back. And the target on their back in being Goliath pushes them to be better. They're not satisfied with being Goliath. They want to be the Goliath that beats Goliath, And they've gotten better as the season's gone on. We watched them at the beginning of the year. They were very talented. How could a team this stacked be this good and continue to get this much better? It's been unreal, and I think we're going to see some of their best basketball in this tournament because that's what they've been playing for this whole year.
Yeah. Special teams do special things.
Special teams do special things.
So.
And special podcasters like ourselves get to help tell the story. So
Exactly.
Orleans Arena.
So make sure you're checking out Daily Unit Sports, Instagram, Twitter. We'll be bringing you guys videos throughout, Instagram stories and everything, and we'll be coming at you again later today, hopefully, with a little recap. So stay tuned.
Peace out.